disciples did not ask Jesus to help her. They asked him to send her away. And for one long suspended moment, standing in a foreign road with a crowd watching, it looked like he might do exactly that. She was screaming his name and he had not said a word. To understand what was happening on that road, you have to understand where it was happening. Tyre and Sidon were not neutral ground. This was Phoenician territory, Gentile land, soaked in a specific historical memory that every Jew traveling through it would have carried like a weight in the chest. This was the region that had produced Jezebel, the queen who had tried to erase the prophets of Israel, whose name had become shorthand for corruption and foreign idolatry generations before this woman was even born. Jesus walking into this territory was not walking into neutral space. He was walking into the ancestral home of an old enemy. And then a woman from that exact region starts shouting after him in public. The word used for her, Canaanite, was not a clinical neutral label. It carried the specific dismissive weight of an old ethnic slur, the kind of term used casually at a dinner table among family, not in a formal address. It marked her immediately before she said a single word, as outside every category that mattered. She was Gentile, not Jewish. She was a woman, alone, without a husband or father present to speak on her behalf, which in that culture did not just make her unusual, it made her invisible in any formal sense. A person with no standing to even initiate a conversation with a traveling rabbi. And she was the mother of a child possessed by an unclean spirit, which meant she carried the social contamination of that affliction as well. 3 strikes against her, and she wasn't just present. She was loud. The disciples, meanwhile, were not neutral bystanders in this. They were men executing a mission plan. Jesus had told them explicitly, in direct language, that he had been sent only to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. That was the boundary. That was the job. A Gentile woman screaming for help in the road wasn't just an inconvenience to that plan. She was, by definition, outside the scope of it entirely. So she cries out, "Have mercy on me, son of David, my daughter is severely possessed." And Jesus says nothing. Silence in that culture was not a neutral pause. It was itself a form of rejection, a way of declining to dignify someone with acknowledgement at all. To not answer a person publicly was to communicate without a single word that they did not merit a response. The crowd would have understood this immediately. She would have understood it immediately. And she kept shouting anyway. This is the part almost never spoken aloud from a pulpit. The disciples come to Jesus, not moved by her desperation, but irritated by the disruption. "Send her away," they say, "for she is crying out after us." Not "send her away because you cannot help her." Send her away because she will not stop, and it is drawing attention, and it is a problem they would like managed. This is not compassion. This is crowd control, dressed in the language of a request. And Jesus answers, but not to her. He answers them out loud in a way she could certainly hear. "I was sent only to the lost sheep of the house of Israel." He is not contradicting his disciples. He is agreeing with them. He is restating publicly the exact boundary they wanted enforced. This should have been the end of it. Subscribe. The story after this one is the confrontation your Sunday school lesson conveniently shortened. She does not retreat. She moves closer. She kneels directly in front of him in the dirt in full view of everyone on that road and reduces her entire argument to 3 words. "Lord, help me." No lineage claimed, no status invoked, just the plea itself stripped down to nothing. And Jesus responds with a line that centuries of soft translation have tried to cushion. And we are not going to cushion it here. "It is not right," he says, "to take the children's bread and throw it to the dogs." The word used was not the harshest slur available to him. It was a term for small household pets, Not wild, scavenging animals, which matters, but not in the direction people want it to matter. It still draws an absolute line, insider and outsider, those who belong at the table and those who do not, worthy of the meal and unworthy of it. He has just called her to her face in public something other than family, something other than Israel, something that does not eat where the children eat. The crowd is watching, the disciples are watching. She has been publicly ignored, publicly named as outside the mission's scope, and now publicly placed beneath the family she is begging to be fed by. And then she does something almost no one in the entire gospel record does. She takes his own metaphor and she turns it back on him. "Yes, Lord," she says, "yet even the dogs eat the crumbs that fall from their master's table." She is not arguing with the boundary. She is not demanding to be made a daughter of Israel, not contesting the hierarchy he has just stated aloud. She is doing something far sharper. She is finding the door he left open at the very edge of his own image. If there is a table, there are crumbs. If there are crumbs, someone under that table is fed. She is not asking him to dismantle the mission. She is asking him to notice that his own metaphor already contains room for her. There is a silence after that line, a different silence than before, because what happens next is the detail the familiar version quietly steps around. Jesus does not simply grant a miracle he privately intended all along. He responds to her directly and changes what he had just said in front of witnesses. "O woman, great is your faith. Let it be done for you as you desire." And her daughter was healed from that very hour. The traditional reading holds that this was a test, that Jesus knew the outcome from the beginning and was staging a lesson in faith for the benefit of the disciples watching. That reading has its place, and it is not without merit. But sit with the harder version the text actually gives us unedited. A Jewish rabbi states a mission boundary aloud, twice in public, once through silence, once through direct words. And a foreign woman with no name, preserved by half the categories that defined status in her world, argues him past it, in real time, in front of the very men who wanted her removed. The God so often described as speaking a word and watching the world rearrange itself around it, here listens, absorbs a counter-argument, and moves. The disciples who came to Jesus asking him to send her away are left standing there watching her win. What survived in this text was never only a healing. It was the friction that came before it, a woman the culture had no category for, refusing to leave, refusing to soften her request, standing her ground in front of the one man in that crowd she had every reason to fear disappointing. The record kept the argument. It did not smooth it into something easier to preach. It simply left it there on the road for anyone willing to read what was actually written.